Cancer, the moon is in Libra, and she's asking, where have you gotten out of balance, and how can we, or what can you do to reestablish that sense of harmony? Stay tuned to figure out how you can work with these energies. But before we jump into that, for those of you who are returning, welcome back, Soul Tribe. I appreciate your subscriptions and likes and shares. Your support really is just the greatest, Cancer, and it keeps us growing. And for those of you who are new, welcome to the Chariot Friends. Justin here, and know that whenever you come across this video, you are in sync with the moon. Welcome to the Soul Tribe. And if you're also new, this is the channel for those of you who have Cancer in your placement. Sun, Moon, Rising, Mercury, Venus, Mars, wherever Cancer, this one's for you. And I do tarot cards with base of our ruler here, the good old moon. And I'll talk about what sign she's in. That's Rhonda. I'll talk about what sign she's in, what phase she's in, what she's going void. Of course, there's all those other shenanigans. There's always plenty of them, Cancer. And just so you're all aware, this is a general reading, not a one-to-one. So take what resonates with you, leave the rest with me. Never force reading on a situation, and everything will be dope, Cancer. Now, let's jump into it. Feeling real pumped, Cancer. And also, you know that makes sense. Moons and getting ready. Moons in Libra. Your space has been cleansed. Crystals, feeling lovely. Just a great energy all around here, Cancer. In Cancer, happy Saturn Day. It is an early one at that. Saturn is associated with, I'll give you a guess, Saturday. And, you know, I always find this very interesting when we talk about Saturn days. I think I talked about this the last time, but the days of Saturn, and I just talk about these days when the planetary day rulers, just to give a little extra flavor to the day. So hopefully you appreciate this. But Saturn is associated with Saturdays, and Saturn is usually about getting down to business. This usually is a time where, you know, people are thinking about going out and doing the whole thing. But this really is a time for, you know, if you're dealing with real estate or land, this is a great energy for that. I know, how fun does that sound? Go pick out a plot of land, Cancer. Let's go dig up some things. But this is an energy for doing some meditation, cracking down any things that you've put off during the week. This is a time to get that stuff in order. This can be, you know, I've even I was born during the hour of Saturn on a moon day, but I've worked with Saturn hours as a time to just like really kind of, all right, I've been just kind of just kind of lollygagging the whole day. Like let's get down. Let's maybe go ahead and get this done. Get laundry folded. Get blah 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 this. So Saturn days can be a time of, yes, it's a bit disciplined, can be a bit of a somber day, but it can be a very productive, very practical day. This could be one too for talking with elders as well. So someone you may view as wise, or maybe this is getting with grandparents if that's available. So something to think about with this energy. And also, depending on when you're coming across this, the moon has just entered into Libra. And the moon is going to be entering Libra she entered Libra at 3:22 a.m. and that'll be Pacific time. And we are in a waxing gibbous phase. Now, with the waxing gibbous, we're getting towards the full moon. We have the full moon coming in about 5 days. So exciting. This is going to be a lovely full moon. I'm really pumped about talking about this, especially, there's a lot going on. But as we're getting towards all that big energy, all that really exciting, lovely energy, sometimes with Libra energy, there's the challenge that Libra can come across is indecisiveness. So this could be where you're getting close to the finish line, and now you're starting to have doubts. Maybe you set out to run a marathon, but this is just a rough example, and you're realizing that, like, maybe, you know, I just happen to watch someone do this, and maybe we're thinking about the time that we're going to run it. You know, are we going to finish it within this? Are we going to be in shape for that? It's where all the doubts start coming in. You know, Libra wants to try to find a solution, try to find balance. And sometimes in that pursuit, it can lead that to like this analysis paralysis, or this could be even where, how interesting. Thank you, higher self. We're going to talk about that in a minute. But this could just be for some, if you find yourself maybe starting to doubt the thing that you've started, maybe you're feeling, if you're getting into this place of like that fence sitting energy, this could be where Libra is about one aspect about Libra. And the one that really gets heavily put on them is relationships, whether this is like one-on-one relationships. We're talking friends, this could be even like with work colleagues, business partners, those, just like it's a little bit deeper than the connections that you make in like Gemini, which is more so like your acquaintances and things like that. This is taking it to that a little bit of that next level, a little more intimate than Aquarius when we're talking about with this friend stuff. But and it doesn't have to necessarily be in a romantic capacity as well. Keep that in mind. But this could just be talking with people and getting like a sounding board. Maybe just talking about your doubts, and having someone like, well, why would you doubt that about yourself? You're amazing. You can do this. And maybe they could even offer you a solution to the thing that you may be doubting yourself about. So that's something to think about if you've been on the fence about a certain situation or however that may be translating. But another thing too, and that I really want to kind of focus on, is the void of course energy that's going to be happening, because it's going to be a pretty lengthy void of course. The moon will be going void of course on the 19th of May. That'll be on Sunday at 8:48 a.m. And then she'll be moving from Libra into Scorpio on the 20th. That'll be on a moon day, Monday at 3:34 p.m. So that's a very long void of course energy that we're going to be having. And the void of course is a time where the moon forms her last aspect. And how I like to think about it is that how they talked about in the olden days is that she's roaming the void, where she takes this is her conversation, how I like to think of between like her and the universe, where it takes that time to kind of go within and process the energies that she's been through in that Libra frequency. And the final aspect that she's forming is an opposition with Mars. And the reason I bring this up is that, or what I kind of wanted to focus on with that is when we're thinking about, and I like that we're entering Libra or that the moon is entering Libra on a Saturday, seeing that it's associated with Saturn, because Saturn is exalted in Libra, which means he does very well in Libra, which you would think, being as disciplined and as the hard factors and that Saturn gets, you would think like he does very well in the beautiful sign of Libra. And I feel like it's because relationships require discipline. They require you, in order to, I feel like for a healthy relationships to function, you have to know who you are first. And, know what you're bringing into the relationship. And then how is this going to work? It's a negotiation process here. And that's Saturn's bread and butter. Saturn is a very great business person. He's someone, and not necessarily just business person, but Saturn knows how to talk. He is the traditional ruler of and guardian of Aquarius, which Aquarius deals with friendships in the groups. And so you don't get that energy not being able to socialize. But I feel that the big, because this is going to be kind of the flavor of the void of course, and I feel like for some, this could be, if you have any sort of like maybe conversations or maybe any sort of like arguments that have been maybe on replay that maybe they've been having troubles letting go. This could be an energy where you can find some ways to release that, meditate on why is this having so much power over me, if that's something that's resonating with you. And if this is something where you can have a conversation with someone, maybe you can make some sort of amends if you feel that's something that you want to do. Or you could just finding a way to just release that burden of yourself. And keep in mind too, because when we're talking about relationships, it's just not all friendly with Libra. This is talking about the enemies that come up, the people that'll, come around and get you a little effed up, but they're a reminder that people only have as much power over us as we give them, as we allow them. And I know that, circumstance could be a whole number of things, but this this energy, I feel, can also remind us what those quote unquote enemies can also, they're there to teach us something as well. They're there to teach us things that we don't want to put up with in a relationship, or things that maybe we learn some ways that we've shown up in relationships that we don't like, so that we can show up better. Hopefully, I feel that sometimes it's unfortunate that relationships can end on, especially romantic ones, when they can end on when they end on a sour note, that they do, because at one point there was love there. And I feel like, yes, there may have been, and of course, circumstances and things, I'm not saying we forgive everything, but I do feel like it's like if we can find some sort of like common ground, this can be just a time of kind of making amends just with how long this void of course is. Because the void of course energy too is a time where kind of like nothing can happen. There's no energy behind it. So this could be where, if we're wanting to resolve something, and play around with this could be where, if we're wanting to resolve something, people won't have the energy to blow it up out of proportion. We can just have a conversation, approach it like, hey, was my experience. What did you experience from this? And just creating those that kind of like equal floor if we're thinking about having a conversation. So these are some ways that maybe you could play around with the void of course energy. But overall, too, it is just paying attention to how these energies do affect you regularly, and reminding you that we do need to take some time and check in. Sometimes there's shorter times, as you can see with the void of course. There was that one where she was like, she went void of course for like a whole minute. Sometimes we just need to take a breath and gather ourselves, and other times we need to take a beat, a longer beat, and really kind of process the energies that have been going on. And again, Libra is not just about the relationships. It's about how we're keeping balance with our relationships, with a lot of things, with people, with our environment, with our whatever this is. And thinking about that opposition with Mars is where our energy's at. I feel like when we're thinking about oppositions, that's when the planets are 180 degrees apart from, so they're directly across from one another on the zodiacal wheel. And that's a time where it's like almost like a game of tug of war, like both parties have to give something. And I feel like, for example, let's say, we're trying to find, okay, Moon's in Libra, something's feeling out of balance. We don't like this thing. Maybe we're putting our energy towards, maybe let's say, for example, you watch or you happen to watch like a video, for example, and it gets you feeling like, sure, you're trying to stay informed. I'm just thinking of news, for example. You're trying to stay informed, but afterwards it leaves you feeling kind of drained. Maybe you listen to a podcast that's maybe something a little bit lighter in the same type of subject, and you feel a little bit more empowered. You're paying attention to where the dissonance is and seeing where things where something has to give, where there's a compromise that needs to be had. In order for me to feel good, I'm going to have to sacrifice this one thing in order for this thing to happen. And that's always the exchange with Libra. Someone gives, someone takes, and it's just like we keep that balance going. So hopefully that's something that can help you kind of apply this energy, or help you apply this to whatever situation you may be going through at this time, and hope you stay balanced in all of this, because I feel that this is one where it can provide us some pause too with how long this void of course is. If you have been feeling like someone's been getting under your skin, there's a time to just take a moment and kind of, because I feel too, if we maybe even blow up during this void of course, that maybe nothing would transpire. Let's say you're feeling maybe frustrated at work and you want to make a statement, and it's just like, nope, it just sort of like, yeah, we'll take your concerns into consideration. But so just something I feel like too, hopefully that this can help you get further along in your day-to-day. And if you're curious about how this energy is working more intimately with your chart, because where the house placement at really kind of helps play a big part in this, book a reading with me. I have links down in the description box below with all the services I provide, and it's also on the bio of my LinkedIn page as well. We can look at where the moon is traversing through your sign, just get an idea of what the focus is those kind of 2.5 days. When the moon is traveling through Libra, this is when I like when the moon's traveling through Libra. This is when I'm thinking about communication, this third house stuff. So now I'm thinking about communication, looking at my immediate environment, the things that I'm taking in. And even with that opposition to Mars, Mars is traveling through my 9th house. So where are some things where I can maybe expand upon? Where are some things in my immediate environment that aren't working anymore, where I may need to give? Or maybe there's something that there's something bigger in my Mars energy that I'm wanting to expand on, that I'm wanting to grow, but I feel there's something that I still need to learn. So it's like finding where the common ground in that is and how I can find that middle ground. So that's something to be, and so that's something to be. This is an example of how this energy may come up for you, and because I'll tell you, I've been wanting to, of course, like kind of like expand my knowledge a little bit more on astrology all the time. And I'm like, where do I want to really kind of gain my focus? Where I feel I can be the most effective? And I have a big background as far as like always, maybe not necessarily professionally, but I've always been a big fan of just like taking care of my body, preventive maintenance, working with different herbs and doing different, like finding different grounding things. I just got these barefoot shoes that have been the game changers, but I'm all about that sort of like anything to help making living in this vessel more comfortable, more effective, and have it be of just a more pleasant experience. I'm about, so I'm trying to expand my knowledge on that and fuse that into the astrology. So that's an example, maybe even hopefully a more helpful example of how that may translate in like an everyday circumstance, for example. So I'm looking at different courses that I want to invest in, expanding my view, getting out of my normal realm of people that I listen to, and being brave, Mars energy, and trusting different people. Like, does that resonate with me? I kind of like that. So being curious, 3rd house energy, because the 3rd house is getting into, it's Gemini's house. So, and I'm very familiar with air sign moon. So the moon in Libra is a moon where I actually function very well in. Like I usually have a very Moon in Gemini has been a little tricky here lately, but when the moon's in Libra, my lunar returns have been a little trickier, the start of them, but by the time the moon's in Libra, I'm usually feeling pretty solid. So, but yeah, if that's something that resonates with you, definitely check that out. All that information's down in the description box, but that's enough gabbing at you. Let's talk about this general energy of the day, because check this out. Look at you syncing up with the energies, Cancer. You have the last quarter moon in Libra, which is make time for self-love. And absolutely, Cancer, all day, the dispositor of where the moon's at is Venus, and she's in her home sign of Taurus. And so even when you think about that, there's this beautiful conversation that's going on, because Venus is not only in the sign that she's dignified in, she's in the sign that the moon is exalted in. So this is a beautiful energy when the moon is in Libra right now, and this is a great time for investing in yourself. Just thinking about that Venus and Taurus energy, really valuing doing some real deep self-work, getting down to getting grounded and comfortable in your energies. That's been the big thing that I've been focusing on for this whole lunar cycle. This has been where this new moon happened was in my 10th house. And, the 10th house, of course, is your career, but it's a little bit bigger than that, too. It's thinking about who am I? Who do I want to be? And so I've been embodying that more, making that more of a routine. How would this person who I want to be, how do they take care of themselves on a day-to-day basis? How do they make time for self-love and show themselves that they're worth it? And that's what Venus reminds us. Venus reminds us to check in, not just in our relationships with others, but in our relationships with ourselves. Because again, we can only meet others as far as we've met ourselves. So this could be a time, I feel the energies are really kind of asking you, especially since we've been in this kind of heavy Taurus energy. The sun's getting ready to move into Gemini here soon, but they'll still have the dispositor of that energy is Mercury, who's in Taurus. So we'll still have this kind of heavy Taurus influence that's still going on, even though the energies are getting ready to move into Gemini. So I just feel for this little bit of time. This is a time, and really hopefully for a longer bit of time, Cancer, that you can find ways to make more time for self-care and find out what that really means for you, because that looks differently for everyone. Some people need to take a whole day and establish like a whole ritual and things. I personally I like the idea of that, but sometimes I have a little bit of trouble taking a whole day doing that. So I just incorporate daily things, something like little, instead of like part of my routines, they're part of my rituals, so that it's something that I'm anticipating as opposed to something that's obligatory. And so that's what I feel like this is doing there, Cancer. But let's get some tarot on this and get some details. All right, Cancer. Think of yourself. Let's see what's going on here. Ooh, interesting, Cancer. Very interesting. So you have the Eight of Cups, the Page of Pentacles, and the Ace of Wands in reverse. And then you have the Wheel of Fortune, Big Papa, Jupiter here, and then the Fool card, Uranus energy. And Cancer, I feel with the Fool being here, this self-love, I feel like this can be more than just talking about like taking time for self-care and things. This can be maybe even making some time to pursue your endeavors as well. That's a form of self-love. When was the last time that you pursued any sort of like passion project, something that really got your energy flowing, something that you wanted to invest in, that made you really excited? I feel the energies are wanting you to get some things growing there, Cancer. Big Papa's getting ready to move out of Jupiter, or get out of, he's just about to just leave the title of Jupiter. No, he's getting ready to move into Gemini here soon, and I feel that could potentially make things a little bit, I feel like things could potentially get a lot busier, that we may, I don't want to say lose the opportunity, but may find it a bit harder to make time for that. Like if there may feel, because it's very interesting. I feel like this Eight of Cups here, there's something that I feel, not necessarily that you need to let something go, Cancer, that maybe that's something we're having troubles walking away from, something that's wanting just a little bit of time, if not as a hobby, like let's say you have this old guitar that you keep, you move all over the place and it still kind of follows you around. And when's the last time you dusted that off? And maybe you don't play it because you can't, or you don't think that you can make it to the big times, but that doesn't mean that you don't discard it because you don't, you know what I mean? You still love that thing. So that's kind of the example that this Eight of Cups is giving me. But let me get a clarifier on that, Cancer, before we move on here. Because I feel like there's this opportunity here, again, with that Fool and this in the Wheel of Fortune energy, to start something new, maybe start something exciting, like a passion project, this Eight of Wands, something that I feel would get you, well, let's see what's going on with that, Cancer. Think you heard yourself. Interesting, Cancer. So you have the Nine of Coins in reverse, and then you have the Devil, Capricorn energy, upright here. And with the Devil being here, Cancer, I feel that the Devil could be, I mean, this is a pretty intense looking Devil. This could be, maybe we're not making a move because this could be maybe from a fear standpoint, maybe a self-confidence standpoint. However this may be manifesting, maybe this is coming from a resource standpoint. Maybe we don't feel, This could be where maybe you're needing to take a little more time to find out where you need to learn. This is interesting with the Nine of Coins. This is, I feel like you, for some, like if this is resonating, we haven't been feeling in this confident energy here. It's time to invest a little bit more, maybe a lot more, depending on what this is looking like, into yourself. Maybe there's this image too with the Eight of Cups. I'm getting another thing that maybe for some, if you have this sort of like maybe toxic image, or this could even be a relationship that maybe is keeping that's an image that maybe you've adopted from someone. This could be where maybe looking at some that like it doesn't feel like it's yours for some others here, Cancer. This feels like that may be something we've picked up in another type of relationship here. And that might be something where we need to, again, talk with someone about. Maybe this is a trusted friend. Maybe this is a family member. Maybe this is a professional, whatever that's looking like. But I do feel like there's, the last quarter moon phase is a time where we are letting go, but there is a difficulty. There's tension that's happening there. That's when the moon is forming a square with the sun, and squares are this energy of needing to make something move. Something's needing to happen. We need to get out of this. It's like a squares. They're tougher energies, but they're signifiers that like, hey, we can get out of this thing, but we're gonna have to maybe do something here and like rise up, and you're gonna have to believe in yourself. I feel with the devil kind of being here, there are gonna be these doubts, there are gonna be these things, but very interesting, Cancer. Let's get a little bit more on this. Oh, Cancer. Wow. Sword City. Okay. Thank you, higher self. So you have the Knight of Swords, the Page of Swords, and the Seven of Swords in reverse. Then you have the Eight of Swords and the Ace of Swords upright here. So you see what I'm talking about, Cancer? Nothing but thinking. And thoughts are powerful, Cancer. And I feel like there's this idea, I'm getting chills even just thinking about it. There's this energy with the Page of Swords that there's a certain idea, I feel, that's in your head. This could be something that's not true, Cancer. The Seven of Swords can be this energy of deception. But I also feel with this too, that this is finding, for some, I feel like it's learning about new sides of yourself as you begin to entertain maybe this idea of taking more time for things that matter to you, allowing yourself to free yourself up here with the Eight of Swords, because this can be keeping ourselves in this box. Cancer, I'm just thinking with this Knight of Swords, he has had to kind of slow down for a moment, and that's what this Knight of Swords was giving me. This energy of just, maybe you've got a lot going on, Cancer, maybe for some, and there's a need, because the Knight of Swords can just get a move in. For me, this is Aquarius energy, and sometimes maybe when you get locked on a certain thought, you can just kind of go and go and go and go, and we want to be mindful where we're putting that energy, especially with these aces here. These like my seed cards, and so I feel like something hasn't been working for a while. Something hasn't been lifting you up. But the Ace of Swords is still saying that it's like you have this power. You see, when it goes in one direction, when it's keeping you down, man, is it powerful. But what were to happen if we were to shift that in a different direction here? Change the direction of the wheel. Big Papa Jupiter is not just, he doesn't just come and shower you with luck. Jupiter brings optimism. Sometimes that can be a bit much. You have to have, there's a realism that comes with Jupiter. Jupiter's can be a tricky energy to balance. I feel like sometimes you can get a little too excited to see Jupiter, but it's more so the perspective is what makes the difference. That helps us see opportunities, to help us catch lucky situations. Oh, how did you happen to come across this? Because I was feeling receptive today. I was welcoming in abundance. I was welcoming in change, and then change happened. And then maybe a thought came by. But like those thoughts, like how that Ace of Swords tried to run away, thoughts are fleeting. And the moon energy, just even think about that. Sometimes, we're in a certain energy, and then you go void of course and you forget about it. So it is feel for some, and that's interesting even just kind of saying that. I feel that if anything comes up for you, Cancer, especially during the void of course period, that sometimes when we're dealing with that emotional space, the reason I feel they say that nothing happens during the void of course energy or nothing, because there's no energy to start up things. They usually say that it's a time to wrap up any sort of existing projects before we're starting anything just like brand new. Otherwise, there may be chance, but I feel that this is it's just giving me like a reevaluation type of energy here. That's very interesting, Cancer. Let's get a little advice from Venus. All right, Cancer. Last little bit here. Thank you for yourself. Oh, there we are. All right, Cancer. So you have the Page of Wands and the Ten of Wands and the Five of Cups upright. And then you have the Knight of Swords and the Queen of Cups, one of our cards in reverse here, Cancer. And let's switch back over. Because I feel with the Ten of Wands, especially for some, if you've been in this sort of just like been feeling just a lot of heavy energy. I feel that there's been this frustration with the Five of Cups. Maybe it's almost giving me like this boiling water type of energy, like because the Five of Cups is Mars and Scorpio, and I feel when Scorpio energy is like overwhelmed, or there's this intense vibration that I'm kind of feeling here, and it just feels that if you are at this place, like Queen of Cups, she's a card of self-care. This is a time where we need to maybe just take a minute, and maybe even with like the King of Swords, get out of our heads a little bit. Maybe take a beat and just do some things. Do something fun for yourself, Cancer. This could be maybe this is playing and this is not like when I'm with this making time for ourselves. I feel like there is a very big difference when it comes to self-care and escapism when we're dealing, because I don't want to forget about that with the devil energy being here. We want to do things that are raising our vibration, that are helping us feeling good at the end of the day. When we break away from it, we feel revitalized, not feeling drained, not feeling like we necessarily need or crave it. There's a difference. Tarot fills me up. I feel great when I'm doing it. I feel great after I'm doing it. But there are times where yes, I feel like I need it because it's been like a few days. Maybe I've been busy with life and just need a time to connect. But there's not like if I never, that's not the greatest example, but there's something here just about understanding that nuance there, Cancer. That's a tricky one we're maybe getting into. So, and But overall, I do feel like that this is a time too. I feel when it's coming with this self love. Maybe you can't, like I was like saying with like others. You know, like I feel people think we need to carve out like a whole day for self love. This could be taking a few minutes. Maybe you're doing like a mask, you know, or maybe you have I remember a friend, they had this little foot massager thing. Maybe you're just sitting in the foot massager for a little bit, just giving yourself a chance to just like take a break for a minute, disconnect, and just kind of recharge there. So, but I think I'm gonna leave that there, Cancer. A little something to think about, but if hopefully you understood that. But if anything resonated with you, if you like that, Cancer, give it a thumbs up. And share this, Cancer. If you know someone who's been having trouble making time for self-love, or again, maybe there's like a passion project that they haven't pursued, or whatever this may be here. Yeah, definitely share this, Cancer, and subscribe there, Queen of Cups. Hit that bell button. You get notified now of these videos each time the moon changes signs. And then last little bit, after we get done checking your chart there, Cancer, you can come over to my other channel, Alchemist State, and I talk about the celestial weather there. I do a weekly video, and I talk about the different aspects that are forming with the planets, how we can work with the energies, and where that may be coming up in your chart. And I'm gonna start doing some more stuff on there here soon. I've been getting some moving parts here. There's been a lot going on here as of late, but it's exciting things on the horizon. But all that housekeeping, Cancer, is down in the description box below. But let me get your surprise cards here, so I can get you out of here, Cancer. You got quite a bit of people here, Cancer. You got the Knight of Pentacles upright, and you know, Cancer, I feel like maybe for some, you know, maybe you've been, again, maybe spreading yourself too thin. You know, I feel like maybe you've been showing up for the Page of Wands. Maybe this is a child, or the Page of Swords, or maybe you've been needing to deal with these knights, or there's a queen that you know, like everyone's needing you, but you need you more than anybody else. And I feel the Knight of Pentacles is getting grounded in that idea, making a plan for that, making a plan for you, carving out these moments of time to be in, just slow down, to just have to, because the Pentacles, they deal with more than, I'll get your other Oracle card, the Pentacles deal with more than just our finances. This is our health, this is our manifestation, resources. And you can't do any of that without if the body isn't running smoothly, if you're not feeling emotionally balanced, physically balanced, spiritually balanced, it's just all out of sorts. So, oh, okay, we're getting both. Dope. Oh, interesting, Cancer. Very interesting. Thank you, higher self. All right, so your cards here. You got the 15th card, Devil Energy, which is the Elves card, which is a card of playfulness. And then you have the Thicket of Thorns card, which is a card of uncertainty. And so this playfulness, I am getting for some, just to be mindful with the Devil energy of how what we're defining as self-love. You know, whatever that looks. So just making sure that is actually raising our vibration, that's got you feeling good afterward. You know, from the food that you're eating, to the drinks, to the television, to the people, to the environment that you're, whatever that's looking like. And I know that and it's like, I know that for some, you know, if we're having troubles changing that stuff, like let's say we're feeling stuck, for example, as far as maybe a certain environment is not working, and we're uncertain, like we know we need to change it, but we're not sure of how that's going to look. I feel like getting playful with the idea of just like knowing that you're knowing that you're going to change, almost like doing like a bit of like I don't want to say like an illusion trick. It's not like you're tricking yourself, but just more so getting playful with the idea of that you can change it, that you have the possibility that, like, I'm not sure, but you know, maybe if I talk with such and such, maybe they might have an idea. Just spitballing some stuff there, Cancer. I feel like that's where this playfulness is kind of coming from, if that's an energy that's coming up. But I also feel too that sometimes with Capricorn energy, one thing that they can do is, Capricorn comes with a lot of pressure, I feel, sometimes just because they are Saturn ruled, or, they're under the guardianship of Saturn. And Saturn just wants you to be who you want to be. And that can be a lot, when you think about who do you want to be, and the work that takes, and the discipline and the patience that takes to do that. But it doesn't have to be all work. There can be this time for play as we're working on this journey. And I feel like that's what Saturn, I feel like we can get so focused on the work that Saturn too is a sign of friendship, or a planet of like friendships, just because he's a traditional ruler of Aquarius. I feel like that's a side we want to remember. Saturn knows how to have fun. Saturn knows that even in times of uncertainty, sometimes getting out there and just having some fun with some people can help you get inspired, maybe to get you out of a rut, or, get you out of uncertain times, but we got to make time for the self-love. And again, that can be something where maybe some self-love can be getting out there and being social. Maybe you've been cooped up for a while. You've been in this hermit mode. You've been feeling, and sometimes it's nice to have that interaction. That energy can get you just vibed up. So yeah, just some things to meditate on there, Cancer, but I think I'll leave that there. Stay mindful out there, Cancer. Stay present, stay hydrated, take care of the body, raise that vibration through the roof. And remember, Cancer, whenever you come across this video, you are synced up with the moon, and I feel like this is a powerful time for the Cancerian energy. So I'm happy to be on this journey with you all. I appreciate all your support. And I will catch you on the next one. Moon Day.